Hey, what's up? Today I'm going to be giving a film review for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Now, this film is the second in the DC cinematic universe, which started with Man of Steel, which was released in 2013. So you can actually look at it like kind of like a sequel to that, but this time it's bringing in Batman into the fold. Plus, you have other like cameos from other like heroes too, because eventually this will join the whole entire like Justice League team together into like one film, which will be known as Justice League. Kind of similar to what they did with like the Marvel Cinematic Universe with like the Avengers. You had like Iron Man and like Captain America and Thor and all them. Then they bring them again and had the Avengers. That's what they're actually like kickstarting right now. It's like the actual like Justice League film in. So, but basically, well, it still kind of is very connected to Man of Steel because you have Henry Cavill returning as Superman again, and then you have the director Zack Snyder, and then plus you have all the familiar like actors and actresses from Man of Steel, like Lawrence Fishburne. He returns, stuff and so on like that. But the film is basically about bringing these two like well-known superheroes like Batman and Superman together in one film, which is kind of cool, and I was always interested in seeing them do this. So they do at one point. I'm not gonna spoil the film at all. I'm trying to keep it like closed and tight. I don't want to ruin it. But they do have like their eventual like face off in the film, and it's like reasons why they do have a face off, because like in the trailers they kind of explain why they have this confrontation at one point. Well, in the end, it was because the idea that in the events of Man of Steel, they even like kind of harken back to that too. They show like scenes in the film. They kind of give flashbacks to the sequences of Man of Steel, where Superman is like fighting like General Zod, and they're tearing up the city and stuff like that. So it turns out that one of the buildings that were destroyed was actually like a Wayne building, like a Bruce Wayne building that he had in Metropolis. So I think that what I'm saying, that's what causes all like this eventual build up to where like Batman himself wants to confront Superman. And plus on top of that, they have to actually realize, and which is like true, they have to actually realize when Superman turned out to be like a villain, like a bad person, like in the end, but for some reason he's like good or not. But when he turns like bad or somebody that wants to attack, that would be like a major threat. So it's actually, so obvious why they actually had to come up, with that kind of that plot, the idea of like when Superman was indeed the villain, however they take him out. So they do have like a situation, but I'm not gonna spoil it. It was kind of obvious, if you're like a fan, I guess you could say of like the comic book genre, like the hero is just so obvious how how you can actually stand a chance, like Batman himself could withstand a chance against Superman. Well, in this film, you have since they're bringing like Batman, so these are separate from like the Christopher Nolan films, which had Christian Bale as Batman and Bruce Wayne. Now you have Ben Affleck casting the role of Bruce Wayne and Batman, which I thought was kind of cool, kind of interesting, And he had previously played a superhero before, in Daredevil, which I thought was kind of cool too. So he's done like the superhero gig before, So have him in the role. Cause I remember when they first announced it, I couldn't believe it. Like, whoa, what is he doing? Like, playing, I was kind of surprised, because he already did that. So it kind of shocked me that they actually announced that he would be playing, like Bruce Wayne, Batman. But it turns out I thought he was I thought Ben Affleck's performance as Bruce Wayne, even like as Bruce Wayne and Batman, I thought he was kind of cool, because when he's Bruce Wayne, he kind of has this like calm, like mannerism, but then when he's like Batman, he's kind of like hard, like his voice even changes, he changes it to make it more like hardcore, I guess to fit the role. But I thought he was decent as a Batman. Then you have Henry Cavill as Superman, Clark Kent. I thought he was okay. He seems kind of more laid back this time compared to kind of how he was on the Man of Steel, for my opinion. Then you have Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, he is introduced into like the DC cinematic universe now as Lex Luthor, and I thought he was kind of cool. I'm just saying he was decent. I didn't have like any graphics with him from anything. I thought he was kind of funny at times too as well. But I thought he was cool though. Then you have Gal Gadot. She shows up as who the Princess, I think Diana, who eventually will become like what she is, Wonder Woman in the film. Gal Gadot, her role is much larger than I thought it would, and I know she eventually will get her own Wonder Woman film, which I'm excited about too. Eventually, I think it's scheduled to be released in 2017, along with the Justice League film, which is probably released in the fall. But I thought she had like a kind of a large role in the film, much larger than I thought it would be. I thought she'd be kind of like just a couple of scenes here and there, but she was actually in the film a lot. Now other people in the film too as well. You have like this returning. You have I don't want to spoil it though, because there are kind of a couple of little surprises, not major surprises, but there are like surprises, and you have Lois Lane, Amy Adams as Lois Lane. Then you have Diane Lane as Martha Kent. Then you have like I said, you have Lawrence Fishburne back in the role of what was his name? I forget what his name. Yeah, Perry White. Then you also have, for the first time, being introduced into like the DC Cinematic Universe, you have Jeremy Irons as Alfred Pennyworth. So he's playing like the butler of Bruce Wayne. And I thought he was cool in this role. You know, you kind of get to see like the Batcave and stuff like that as well too. You know. So on the whole, the film, that's basically what the film about. And there's like this like other like conflict going on with like Lex Luthor. He secretly wants to, I guess you could say, take out Superman, destroy Superman at one point. You know. So I guess that's kind of what his plot point was, kind of with him like being involved in the film. But at the same time, there are other like heroes, you know, or like, well, not necessarily heroes, not even villains, but there are like other people with like superpowers that Bruce Wayne himself already kind of knew about, which I thought was kind of cool because like at one point when he was like in like the Batcave, you can see him looking at like the files of these other people who will become a part of like the Justice League. Like he has one for like Wonder Woman, he actually had like her symbol. Then he had one for like Aquaman, you know. Then he had like a symbol for the Flash, you know. Then he had a symbol for Cyborg, and you actually get to see like little quick cameos from all of these heroes. I ain't want to spoil it, you know, but but they did already say that they was going to get to see them in the film. You know, you get to see like little quick glimpses of them, you know, because they all will each eventually have their own film, and then the eventual Justice League film. So yeah, that's basically what the film is about. And at the same time, you have Clark Kent, you know, Superman. He's kind of against like Batman's vigilante ways, you know. Plus in this film, you get to see him like actually like kill like villains and stuff like that, you know. Even Superman at one point too, you know. But I think a lot of those were like dream sequences too as well, you know. They weren't really like killing and stuff like that. But on the whole, that's basically what the bulk is about, you know. Like Bruce Wayne, that's why he wants to take on like Superman in the end. Where Batman wants to take on Superman, and because like I did, this building was destroyed, a Wayne building. Plus Superman could eventually really become a threat. Plus the world itself, or America, where you know whatever, they're actually kind of against Superman because of certain events that happen in the film, you know. That I don't want to spoil, you know. So they are already kind of against him in any way, you know. They kind of believe that he might be a threat because he's so powerful, you know. But you also have Holly Hunter in the film too as the Senator, June Finch, you know. I thought she was cool at the time that she did have on in there, you know, as well, you know. Now, in general, and I thought Zack Snyder, I thought he was, you know, saying, but I'm a fan of his films anyway. Kind of like 300, I thought was good. I like The Watchmen. I think Sucker Punch he directed too as well. I thought those were Ant-Man still. I enjoyed all those films, so I kind of knew that I would kind of enjoy this film too, you know, as well, you know. But I thought it was like decent, you know, it had like some cool action sequences, but it seemed like it was more good, more enjoyable when they didn't have their eventual confrontation like Batman and Superman. It like it was kind of more enjoyable when they weren't fighting, you know, like basically just when they had like moments for seconds, a Superman moment or when it's a Batman moment, or because it was actually having moments when they did kind of clash, but they didn't fight right, and they just meet each other and stuff like that. Like parts you can see in the trailer, like where Batman's driving the Batmobile and he crashed into Superman, you know, like kind of they didn't fight at that particular moment, but there was like a little clash they had. I thought it was kind of cool, you know, as well, you know. But to me, it just seemed like it was more enjoyable before it got to the actual confrontation, you know. And then they bring in another major villain, you know, that all like comic books fans and everything, you know, they probably would know, you know, if you're a Superman fan, you know who it was, you know, that they have to actually join forces together and like take out, say, like Wonder Woman. That Superman and Batman, they have to actually join forces to actually take out this major villain, you know. And that sequence was kind of cool. It's kind of the cheesy side, you know, to a certain extent. But it was cool, actually, like the battle and stuff. It's cool seeing that being brought to like even like the fight before like Batman and Superman. It was cool actually seeing them like actually getting down like that in live action and not like animation form, you know. Because it's very similar to like the Dark Knight Returns, like the Part 1 and Part 2, like DC animated films they did. It's kind of similar to that, and it borrows a lot from like the Frank Miller like storyline too as well. You know, the story, except certain things were kind of like turned around and stuff in it. You know, and there's actually some surprises in it too as well. But I'm not gonna spoil it. But in the end, I like the look of Batman too as well. I like the kind of, you know, like thick and like muscular. Even like, you know, like his suit, they didn't have like this symbol, you know, but they had like the church, the other like just bat symbol. I thought was kind of cool, you know. And other than that, I liked the Batmobile. I thought that was cool. I thought he did a good job with that. You also get to see like a little origin tale about Bruce Wayne again. I was kind of too like, dang, you know, you got to see, you know, his parents being murdered and stuff. But you know, a lot of people they still kind of probably still a lot of people who weren't too familiar with it. But I know some are, you know. But plus they was actually bringing that into like the DC Cinematic Universe, so they did actually have to show us Bruce Wayne's parents being murdered again, which I thought was kind of cool, you know. And they brought like this time they kind of stayed more true to the events of how it happened in the comics with his parents being killed and stuff like that, you know, which I thought was kind of cool. But in the end, I thought this was good. I'm looking forward to like the other DC like cinematic universe films. You know, like I know they got Wonder Woman coming next. I think like Justice League, Aquaman, Cyborg, The Flash. All them supposed to get their own films too as well. You know, which will be a part of like the DC cinematic universe. Plus, they're supposed to be actually separate Batman films too with Ben Affleck in them as Batman. You know. I thought he was a cool Batman, and I want to brag on him, but I kind of believe this was the Batman that I did want to see, you know, brought to life, you know, because it's very like comic booky, you know, because like the way he fights and stuff and moves around, like using his grappling and stuff, I thought that was kind of cool, you know, it kind of fits like the actual like animation and stuff that I'm a big fan of, you know, so like I say he's like my favorite superhero, you know, like I always say, you know, but and then I'll be giving a Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, I'm giving it a B minus. I was saying it was like I enjoyed it. You know, I would recommend it for like Batman, Superman fans, or like superhero fans, or DC fans, you know, in general. You know, but at times it was kind of when it got kind of close to like the end. Actually, after the confrontation and all that, when they're falling on it, that's when it kind of started dragging. Then it got kind of like overblown. But it kind of fits like the universe. You know, obviously it will be like that, and it will have to be like that for the eventual Justice League film. You know, because there's no telling who like villain, like major villain they would have to take on in that film, you know. But then I'm giving it like this a B minus, and this is my review for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. All right.